Hi, I'm Gerry from Gerry's Craft Room, and in this video I'm going to make cards with Distress Oxide sprays and a new Tim Holtz Masquerade die. I immediately thought this was a super cool die, but I had no ideas or plan with it. Usually I only buy dies when I have a plan, and now I have loads of plans, so you will see more of this set. About the Distress Oxide spray, since my first video on the sprays I have learned that they are safer than bacon and wine. The potentially dangerous part, titanium dioxide, is in almost every white or pastel colored paint. So with that being said, I have a few things you can do to make the spray go where it needs to go on a card or other craft project. This goes for all sprays. When you use a box, the spray will land inside. Now Tim Holtz has a Splat box that you can fold flat to store, and I will link to that in the description box below. I have made my own box, and this will catch most of the spray mist, and always work in a ventilated area, and use gloves if you want to. I like the sprays, so I'm going to do a few more videos on them and showing you what you can do and the cool effects you can get with the sprays. First, make sure to shake them. The dye and pigment part are separated in the bottle and they need to be mixed. Check the bottom, if that's clean, it's mixed properly. And then I just start to spray just part of the card, and then the other color I just add bits of the ink filling the paper, and then I use the heat tool to dry. I spray some water to make the ink oxidize, and this will give you the chalky look. I use the heat tool again and spray more water. This will all add to the texture and depth of the design. I blot the last wet bits, and there I have my first background. I cut a mask and spray that, the most color in the middle, and I'm going to blot the sides a bit, and this gives such a cool effect. I really like it, and it is super fast too. I dry it again with the heat tool. And just so you know, I added the main products I used in the description box for you. You can find the full list of supplies on my blog, and if you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. And look at the different colors you get with one color oxide spray, so cool. On with the next card, and now I move the spray over the card while spraying, and then the other color in the corners. And then I'm going to mist some water, and I use the heat tool again. I keep drying, spraying water and blotting to get a fun textured backgrounds and nice blended colors. And look at the cool textured background, amazing and so easy. I have two more masks. I end up using the biggest one only, and I spray it in two colors. I dry and spray with water to activate the ink. And here are the finished masks, another card with two sprays. I start with one color and spray it at an angle. Now normally your desk would be covered when doing so, but the box catches all the mist. And I'm going to dry it with a heat tool. I spray some water and dry again for texture and to activate the ink. And I add the other color. I spray some water to spread the ink a bit, and I dry it again with the heat tool. Now I use the tube from the bottle to make some splats. And I'm going to let it dry, and I come back with this card later. First I have to mask, one with ultra smooth card and the other one is craft card. And I dry the craft card like this, as I like the look. And for the white mask I add some water to dilute the ink in both corners, using the same ink to color the complete mask. And while you are here, have you seen the community tab at the top? It's available on smartphone and desktop computer, and I will share new and fun things there like behind the scenes, polls and such, so you can check that out if you like. I add some water drops to activate the ink and get some texture. Oh, here's the card with the drops. They are partly dry and I will blot the rest. Lots of texture on this one. For this card I spray some water first and then I add the ink just to see what is happening. And then I use the heat tool again. I'm going to spray some more water to get the color moving and make it oxidize, which gives the pretty chalky look. And this is just a quick background. It's so easy with these sprays and it's really fun experimenting with them. So let's make some cards. I added the last background to a black card base and I'm going to add some gesso on the mask with my finger, just a little bit, and I tap on the sides of the mask. Now I'm going to add some stickles in two colors. So I spread it with my finger again and I'm just covering parts along the side. This will give some pretty sparkle next to the chalky look of the Oxide inks. And then I'm going to let it dry. On with the next card, I'm going to add some thin silver wire around the mask. You can also use thread for this if you like. And I add some stickles to the mask and I put it aside to dry. On with another card, I sand the edges of the mask to give it a distressed look. And then I tear a piece of vellum to fit the card and fit behind the mask. And I'm going to glue a white mask I cut in half to the back of the pink mask. This will add to the dimension and make the mask stand out more on the same color card. I'm going to add some splats with water to my card. I should have done that before I added it to the note card, but I didn't. Sometimes a plan changes along the way. And then I add the embossing powder and I'm going to melt it with a heat tool. Embossing powder sticks to water if you work fast, so have the heat tool at hand. I'm going to add a pattern to the mask with another Tim Holtz stencil, just on the edge of the mask on both sides. And I use Distress Oxide ink and an ink blending tool. It's just fun to give the same mask different looks. And now I'm going to assemble the pink card. I added tape to the mask so it will not show through the vellum. And I have a piece of vintage music paper to add behind the vellum. And I add a complete piece to the card and I finish with the sentiment. And here you can see the gorgeous texture of the added embossing powder. On with another card, I'm going to add a bit of black with a stencil. And then I add the mask to the card. And I add some more of the stickles, the same color I used on the mask earlier, and I add a line inside the eye openings, if that's a good word, a bit like eyeliner, and then I'm going to let that dry again. And this is the card after drying with the added sentiment. I also add a pattern on the orange card with another stencil from the set. And I add some black ink along the edges of the mask. I added tape to the back of the mask and I'm going to add some black thread, and I just take some thread and let it fall on the mask, and then I'm going to press it down. I will check on the front how it looks. And then I add the mask to the card and I finish with the sentiment. I'm going to add some black splats to the purple and brown card with diluted gesso and a brush, and then I'm going to let that dry. And the last card with the stickles and black splats is all dry, and I'm going to add the cutout parts of the eyes that I colored black. So I add some tape to the back of the mask and I'm going to add the pieces. And then I add the mask to the card and I finish with the sentiment. So here are my finished cards. I hope I didn't scare you and you are inspired to make your own spooky cards. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure to keep on crafting.